Joseph Scrimshaw from ForceCenter here to talk about one of my very favorite characters in Star Wars. Now, I have a lot of favorites, everyone from Obi-Wan Kenobi, to Kira, to Terra Sanube, to the astromech drummer, to Rey Skywalker, to this specific DLC-13 mining droid, and many more. I don't have them in an organized list, but you know who would? One of my other very favorite Star Wars characters, Tech from the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch starts off as a fun riff on an elite fighting force from the 80s or 90s made up of cool weirdos with a very specific ability or label, like if the A-Team was written by John Hughes. There's the leader, the muscle, the goth, and the nerd. On first glance, Tech is very stereotypical. He's scrawny, he wears glasses, he loves facts and figures, and he speaks in a clipped, emotionally distant tone. If clone armor had a pocket protector, Tech would be rockin' one. But Tech, and all of the Bad Batch, are so much more than what they appear at first glance. Now, I think many people love Tech and probably see themselves in Tech for lots of different reasons, so I'm only speaking for myself. But here's why I see myself in Tech. Because I love comic theory, the structure and function of humor, the study of how and why we laugh. While I talk about comedy, here are some pictures of clowns. I became obsessed with comic theory when I took a couple of classes on it in college. I've been able to test and observe various theories over years of doing comedy of all kinds. Stand-up, sketch, improv, short films, Shakespeare, children's theater, working at a factory shrink-wrapping knives, which I considered a form of comedic performance art that also drew blood. Now, many people respond to the idea of comic theory the way Wrecker might.
What's the study? If it makes you laugh, it's funny.
And Tech might respond exactly as I would. That is a limited definition at best. The physiology of laughter is not entirely understood, but many philosophers and social scientists have concluded that all comedy arises from contrast. Examples of contrast include a baby dressed like James Bond, a wise hero sticking a lightsaber in their own eye, getting to play Batman, but being really bummed out about it all the time. Or Tech compared to his fellow clones. Tech is a perfect example of contrast. All comedy has a setup and a punchline, even if they're not literally spoken. For example, when Omega asks Tech what the Clone Wars were like, we expect the raw, emotional perspective of a war-weary veteran. That's the setup. Instead, we get an answer that sounds like an entry on Wikipedia. That is the punchline. But here's where contrast gets complex. A lot of comedy pitches one thing, the setup of the joke, as normal and correct, and therefore the contrasting thing, the punchline, as wrong. It's the butt of the joke, which is fine if you want to criticize something. But if you're not precise in constructing your contrast, jokes can become cruel. But the comedy in Bad Batch is never cruel. Tech is never the butt of the joke. He is not wrong. He just processes things differently. Everyone in the Bad Batch does. Wrecker groans, Hunter broods, Tech analyzes, computes, and reports. We can laugh at the contrast between their strong personalities without mocking them. Instead, we can celebrate their differences and see our own weird, unique, fallible selves in them. There is a part of me that is very much like Tech. I want all the information. I want to collect it and share it for maximum clarity. In the year 2023, I still send people emails with multiple questions. It is one of the simple truths of our society. If you send someone an email with 3 questions, you will only get one answer back. And yet, I persist. Do you know who would answer every question in my email? Tech would. And that is beautiful. That is funny. That's different. And there's not a damn thing wrong with it. Tech is also very efficient. So in the spirit of Tech, I've said everything I have to say, so this video is concluding. Thank you.